my message really today is I want you to fail a lot, and I want you to fail a lot faster. And the reason I believe in that so strongly, Phil, is because if you don't take a big enough risk, you're not stretching yourself far enough. That means you're not reaching what you're capable of because you're playing it safe your entire life. So I have to develop a strategy that takes me like right there at the edge where I am pushing myself as far as I can possibly push myself, and where the tipping point could be incredible success, but the tipping point could be failure. Because if you ever ask an entrepreneur and you say, well, what do you need for your business? What they say is, I need more clients. Well, yes, we all need more clients, but that's not a one sentence answer. You know, if you need more clients, we have to go through this whole thing of like, how is the idea clear? Is your branding clear? Is your positioning clear? Do you know who you're selling to? Do they even want what you want to give them? Are they willing to spend money for it? Are you talking to the right person that has the money to give that money to you? What is the outcome that you're promising? You know, and so we're going through this whole list of what is it, like 250 things that you need to know to find more clients, and where in there the holes are, and then be honest enough with yourself to say, I have not figured this out, and then call you to hire you, or call me to hire me, or, you know, go somewhere where you really learn this particular one thing until you move on to the next, and you'll never be done, ever. I had a couple businesses that I ran that ended up not working out for me until the one business worked out for me, and then I made millions of dollars when I sold the company to Bill Gates. But up until then, things didn't work. There's a great quote which I heard from someone who is in relationships, and he said, Marianne Williamson said, all relationships fail until the one that doesn't.
This episode is brought to you by Venture Mastery, a platform bringing you the best talent from the entrepreneurial world. The platform which connects successful entrepreneurs to other business owners aiming to achieve success. If you've ever wanted to get more leads, more customers, and more revenue, if you ever wondered what successful business owners do differently, what strategies do they follow, how do they apply and execute, if you ever wondered how other entrepreneurs manage to scale their businesses, then you're in the right place. Our mission is to become one of the best educational resources for entrepreneurs who have tried and failed continuously. Anyone can build a business, but only 1% can master it, grow, scale, and prosper. We help you get into that 1% with proven methods used by 7-figure entrepreneurs from all around the world. We will cover all aspects of running a business successfully from a practical standpoint, covering everything you need to know about money and finance, leadership, sales, marketing, wealth management, mindset, and how to get you motivated day by day. So if you'd like to find out more about our programs, keep up to date with our upcoming online courses and one-to-one interviews, please follow us on either Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or other social media platforms of your choice at Venture Mastery, or check us out online at www.venturemastery.co.
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Phil Emery, founder and CEO of Venture Mastery. And today we have a special guest, Beate Chelette. Beate Chelette, am I correct how I pronounce your name?
Beate Chelette, yes, you're doing excellent.
Beate Chelette.
Yes.
A self-made multimillionaire, and the woman who managed to sell her business a few years ago to Bill Gates. And our today's topic is a special topic about failure, about what I call this the price we pay for our successes. This can be an approach, yes? How? Beate, thanks for joining in. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Phil. Yeah, talking about failure. Is there a more interesting and more misunderstood topic to talk about in
Yeah,
entrepreneurship?
yeah, yeah. Let's jump in and let's see, because I have my own thoughts, and I think that this is one of the most interesting, one of the most, especially for younger generations, to understand what failure means, what success means, how do you connect the two of these, and what is beyond failure, what is behind success, basically, in most of the cases.
Yes, excellent. Exactly. So, I just like to start with, really just setting the stage for the audience and saying, like,
Yeah,
most people think that, we're born, we go through school, we do our degrees, we go into work, and, little by little, our life just keeps getting better and better and better, right? Like the
yeah.
princess woke up one day and then great things happened. And then one day the princess became the queen and lived happily ever after. See, you're laughing
and
when I
and
say it like
and the
that. Then
prince is
everybody go,
coming on a white horse. Yeah,
there you go. And the prince comes on a white horse, and he's easily recognizable. He's not an alcoholic. He's not a pathological liar. He's a nice guy. He's the right guy. Then, of course, they get married, and they have the perfect children, and they live in the perfect kingdom, and life is just perfect all the way around.
and we
So
hear this
obviously,
from a single mom and an immigrant from Germany. As I understand, you immigrated from Germany to the US. Yeah,
so obviously, my story or no story is ever like this, like ever.
yeah,
So most people I talk to, and a lot of entrepreneurs I talk to, Phil, they're just deathly afraid of making a mistake because
yeah,
mistakes cost money. Mistakes are jarring. It's
yeah,
difficult. Mistakes lower your confidence. Other people are telling you, I told you, Phil, not to do that. I warned you about that, and you did it anyway. And look, and now you lost $10,000. I mean, dude, how stupid can you be, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and and so in your entire life, you just keep hearing that it's not okay to make mistakes.
yeah,
And I don't think that that is a good way to raise our children, or to look at entrepreneurship, or to look at life in general. So my message really today is, I want you to fail a lot, and I want you to fail a lot faster. And the
yes,
reason I believe in that so strongly, Phil, is because if if you don't take a big enough risk, you're not stretching yourself far enough. That means you're not reaching what you're capable of because you're playing it safe your entire life.
yeah,
Now, if you're playing it safe, you're not technically by definition an entrepreneur. Then you probably are better off to be employed somewhere, because then you can say, well, I show up, I put in my 8 hours or my 9 hours, and I go home, I got a certain number of vacation, I get my maternity leave, I get
mm,
my vacation
yeah,
money,
yeah,
I'm all set. But as entrepreneurs, our job is to make an impact.
yeah,
And unless you don't want to make a big impact, and I want to make a big impact. So if I want to make a big impact, I'm going to have to push it really hard, because
yeah,
otherwise, I'll be just sitting here and doing interviews during COVID, and then, fingers crossed, something's going to happen as
yeah,
a result of it. So I have to develop a strategy that takes me like right there at the edge, where I am pushing myself as far as I can possibly push myself, and where the tipping point could be incredible success, or the tipping point could be failure. But if I don't have the failure, right, this is sort of the law of opposites. If I
yeah,
don't have the opportunity to have a failure, I also will not have an opportunity to have a win.
yeah,
And that's, I think, where a lot of people mistake that, Phil. I don't know how it is with in your world, but the failures we have and the mistakes that we make just are road signs that say this is not the right road to go. You need to make a turn. And then you make a turn. And so if you look at failure from the perspective of, oh, that's the wrong way, or that's not going to work. And then you have the choice to say, well, I am a failure. I will never make this happen. And then you hit another dead end, or you say, that is so interesting that didn't work. I wonder what will work. And then you just make a turn.
Yeah, that's exactly. I can only agree with your thoughts. I think, in my opinion, all this starts from our childhood. From I don't want to blame traditional schooling, but unfortunately,
I do.
regardless where you are, even in the US, it's not about Europe or far Asia or whatever. It's everywhere. It's if you fail in math, okay, oh, why did you fail? It's okay, because tell me unsuccessful entrepreneur who didn't fail. The most successful you can become, or someone became, the more I'm sure I'm 100% sure that the more
Yes,
he or she failed throughout his or her life.
you're absolutely
And
correct. I don't think that I know anyone who's ever made anything out of themselves that didn't lose money, believed in the wrong person, were in a lawsuit, tried something that completely failed, were betrayed, invested money in a venture that completely tanked. And even if we take investing as an example, so a seasoned investor, let's say they have $1 million fund that they invest. So
yeah,
they invest in 10 ventures, $100,000 each. They know 8 out of those ventures are going to fail,
yeah,
but they're betting on that one venture
yeah,
that's going to succeed, and that makes them a multiple of the money that they
yes,
invested in
yes,
in in,
yes.
in
That's
total.
that's exactly how it works. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
And
what investors they pretty know, that they distribute their money in multiple portfolios or whatever. It is also it's in investment in not only in startups, but as you said, they are investing in 10 or 100 smaller startups, depending on their capabilities, how much they are willing to invest, and so on. And they are doing the math. Okay, if one of them or two or three of them are making it to a quite successful stage, then they have a win. But they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they know that investing in only one company is far too risky. So yeah, and it's not only in entrepreneurship, it's in almost any area of our life. For example, in case of sports or professional athletes, it's the same. People, the only thing they see, uh, they won the Olympic Games or whatever. They don't see how many failures they had, how many work, how many sacrifices they had, what they missed throughout their preparation to reach to that point. Um, because without effort, without paying the price, there is no gain. Without pain.
you're absolutely correct. And I like the example of sports. I mean, we just had the Super Bowl in here in America, and we had Tom Brady against this other much younger and very talented, up and coming, very successful quarterback, Mahomes, and Brady decimated this younger player. And when I was watching it, I couldn't help but think to myself, this will never happen again to
Yeah,
this new quarterback,
yeah,
because he will study this game where he couldn't score one single touchdown. He will look at this and he will learn from this, and this will never happen to him again. And I think that's how we have to look at failure in general in our lives, to say nobody has that princess story or the prince story. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally don't know anyone who has that story.
Yeah.
But that we realize that this is just part of our journey, and that we need to really embrace that and always look in the opportunity. I always say that if you're in a dark room and it's really dark because you failed and you can't find your way out, I can guarantee there's a light switch in that room somewhere. You just
Yeah.
have to find it
Yeah.
and flip it.
And I think it's extremely important that people who succeeded to become a mentor or someone, for example, in my case, um, I even had classes at the university, and I realized that most of my students, basically approximately 90% of the students, they didn't even know why they were there at the university. And I tried to show them some YouTube videos about certain topics. I tried to make them visualize opportunities or things they didn't know it existed, you know. And that's actually my goal with my project, with my venture mastery. To gather people, successful people, and spread their message or their knowledge to younger generation, and so that it's not about uh, teaching them how not to fail, but since they went through so many things, they can put them on the right direction. It doesn't mean that they won't fail, but at least they will encourage them that, okay, failure is okay, but this is why you failed, and this is how you should have approached it, or at least you will know how to approach this thing next time, and so on. I think this would be extremely important, not to keep for yourself what you gathered in experience or whatever. uh, you have probably your own children. Of course, you are trying to do your best to teach them, but it is important to teach whoever feel it, the need for something like that.
Yes, and you're making a really good point, Phil, about um, you don't know what you don't know. And so this is really another really significant aspect in success in entrepreneurship, is the willingness to explore and the willingness to learn. So many times, and you're in digital marketing, so I'm sure you work a lot with people in the self-development space that are helping other people to master a particular type of skill. And so we are now so programmed by the onslaught of emails and Facebook marketing and Google ads that when something comes at us, we immediately shut down and we are bothered. But what if there was a different way to look at this? What if there was a, instead of the reacting, what if there was an active pursuit of excellence? And so the way I do that is that I really identify every year a skill set that I want to master. So last year my skill set was mindset. So I recognized that I was angry, it was COVID, I couldn't travel, my business tanked, I couldn't speak anymore, there were no live training events. That's enough to make you pretty upset about what's going on. And I realized that my own negative thinking wasn't going to help me to build my business back up. And so I focused on mindset. And so last year, everything I did was around mindset. So I signed up for a very expensive program with a very well-known mindset trainer. For 3 months, every day at 6:30, I get up and I do my mindset work every day for 3 months.
I think
well, because that's a decision that I made for myself. And then this year, and that's why it's so interesting that we're talking. So this year I want to master lead generation and my funnels, right? Because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I know enough about enough things, but am I a master in it? No. So I literally I put the money aside, I plan on it. So this is what I will do this year. My goal for this year is to master my funnel and to master my lead generation.
Yeah.
And I will look and search and find people that can help me to figure this out so that I can create these passive income streams that I've been talking about for years that I just haven't figured out yet, but this is the year to do it. So and again, in the failure portion of things, you can't know everything, but you need to know enough to know on whether you need to hire someone to do it for you or whether you need to learn it and do it yourself.
Yeah. There are so many thoughts while you are talking about this that also reminds me about my own experience. For example, yesterday I had a conversation. One of my friends called me on Facebook and he was quite disappointed, frustrated. He had a business which was very hardly affected by COVID in a negative sense, and he was, unoptimistic and so on. And I had a conversation with him for about half an hour. Mm-hmm. By the end of these conversations, he was, I think, the happiest guy. I simply encouraged him. I told him that I am going through these kind of feelings, frustrations, so on, sometimes on a daily basis. But this is normal. Don't you ever think that other people, let's take Elon Musk or someone or Bill Gates or whatever, they went through or even going through on tough situations or days, because that's how we are. We are human feelings. We are not robots. And you mentioned something which is important to reach to the point to have a passive income stream for your business. And I think this one, maybe we directed in another topic now, but I think it's important for younger generation, because what I noticed, they are looking for the, I don't know, for the 5-star solution, or call it whatever. Passive income is a nonsense. There is no such thing. You can reach that point to have passive income, but you need to work really hard to reach that point.
Oh my gosh. I think that this is really part of where internet marketing has really gone off the rails. So the what's been happening, and let's just explain that to your audience very quickly, sort of what's happening. So there's a lot of people that have taken online courses from internet marketing gurus. And then they figure out one thing. They figured out how to create the online course. They figured out how to write copy. They figured out how to set up the landing page. And then they go out and they create their own course about this one thing. And then they tell the world, with a ton of internet marketing and a big Facebook ad budget, that this one thing is the solution to everything. And they use the classic internet marketing language that says, in only 2 minutes a day, when you sit in your kitchen with your oversized sweater on a pink background with a big glass of Cabernet in the hand, you can, as a single mother, anywhere in the world, create $10,000 a day in passive income just like me. And I call this my bullshit-o-meter goes,
This is the recipe. This is the recipe for one thing: a huge and big failure, and a huge lesson for a whole of your life. There is no such thing.
No. Believe me, if we knew how to make that $10,000 side hustle, don't you guys think that we would be doing this? Don't you think we'd be having 50 of them that make us an extra $10,000 by only working 2 minutes a day in each one of them? I mean, if that existed, right, that we all be doing it. Not to say that it cannot be done, but it can only be done, and that's why I like the theme of your series, mastery. When you have mastered the task and done the actions to master the task,
Yeah.
and have the subject matter expertise and the insight
Yeah.
and the knowledge.
Yeah.
Then
And we
you
are,
can say,
yeah.
I cracked that code. I
Yeah.
cracked that code.
Yeah.
And now I can set up these passive income streams because it's a cumulative knowledge of what I've done up until here. But especially in internet marketing, internet marketers in their desire to sell at all costs have not done entrepreneurship a favor.
Yeah. And one more, which is also important, online marketing, for example, setting up an AdWords campaign or Facebook campaign or Instagram campaign or building up a landing page. This is something most people can learn and can do it. But that's not marketing. That's you need. And believe it or not, I realized this after working at least 5 years in this industry. And when I started to read books which made my mindset, it simply turned around. I thought that I knew everything, and now I know that I will never know everything. I
Doesn't
will
it drive you
never.
crazy, Phil? The more you study, the more you go, damn, I still don't know
You
that thing.
the more you will feel that, okay, gosh, there are so many things
No.
you don't know, and it's okay. It's okay. But especially as a leader, when you have a team, as a leader, it's not your job to know all of these things. Your job is to manage to build up a team which is who is will be happy to work for the goal of that company, regardless that, of course, making money is okay, because the more money you can make, the more or the more solutions you can offer for others. For example, you can, because let's be honest, uh, humanity developed by entrepreneurs, meaning if there were no entrepreneurs, everything would be the same.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I always say, here's a crazy thought, Phil. So I learned this again, in my mindset class from David Nagel, and he said the way you need to look at it is that even in the Stone Age, everything existed, everything was already here. So artificial intelligence already existed in the Stone Age. It just
Yeah,
wasn't that anyone was ready to
yeah,
recognize that. So it's not like aliens came with a spaceship and dropped off all the information about artificial intelligence or computers or microchips or tanning beds or cars or electricity. It's not that this information was, handed to us. It started in every single instance where someone said, wouldn't it be nice to have something that's like making me carry something easier? Invention of the wheel.
yeah,
And then Thomas Edison, he says, I know that it must be possible because I'm watching electricity from the sky in the form of a lightning flash. So I know it must be possible to create electricity because it's a naturally occurring phenomenon. If it's naturally occurring, it must exist. So
yeah,
therefore, I should be able to do it.
yeah,
And so this is to your point. And when you think about it that way, when you say artificial intelligence existed in the Stone Age, but people weren't ready for it yet, that's enough to make your mind explode, because
yeah,
you go, well, yeah, it's already always here. That means all the future ideas are already here. You just have to start to think it. So when you can imagine that idea, then it must be possible, right? Because
yeah,
so
yeah,
much has already been possible before.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the job of an entrepreneur. Do you like this conversation, Phil?
No,
I can see it in your face. You go like,
that's the point. No, it's okay. That's the point. We sometimes are mixing the topics, but but it's important that we are talking, we discussing about topics which uh, our audience will resonate with. They will think, oh yeah, it's about me, or something like that. It's okay. I don't know. You know Ray Dalio?
No.
Ray Dalio, the famous hedge fund investor
No.
principles. He has a book, and I created a sketch, a drawing on my whiteboard. I have a mini whiteboard. See?
Yeah, exactly.
So most people think that from A to B is that dashed line, black dashed line.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
But that red line is the way to success.
I actually use that exact same thing, except mine is a little bit more volatile. Mine
Yeah.
goes way further down and way further up. So
I just wanted
yeah,
to illustrate something because
this is exactly
that
how you illustrated. Yes.
it fits exactly with this topic. But
Yeah.
consider myself, Beat, I am originally a Hungarian, one of the most difficult languages on our planet. And
Says the Hungarian who speaks it fluently.
and I am not a Native American. I cannot speak as a Native American, and I'm still doing interviews like this. And I'm sure that I'm doing mistakes throughout these interviews, but I have a goal till by the end of this year to have 100 interviews. And at this stage, I'm not doing this full time. And I could easily schedule 2 interviews for 1 week. I I am at the stage when I have for the next 3 weeks scheduled already 2 interviews. But I could have for every single day. It wouldn't be a problem for me. This is the easiest thing I found that finding interview is quite easy for me, at least.
Well,
Of
you're
course,
also pretty persistent, if I remember that correct.
maybe, but of course I have loads of experience because 8 years ago I was the first from that company within that team who reached out to US company owners or throughout Skype, meaning I called them throughout Skype. And it was extremely, at least 3, 5 times more effective than reaching out by email.
Oh my God,
Because
yeah.
on phone, I could easily, it was much easier to make a deal.
I think it still is. You just the
And
goal is to get the person on the phone as quickly as possible, especially for high ticket items. I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
going back to internet marketing or to talking about how to build businesses or build the idea, obviously we need to have an online presence, and obviously our website needs to reflect in some sort of shape or form who you are. Obviously you need some sort of a lead generation and some sort of an online product, and you have to have it at different levels. But that doesn't mean that some people only want to do that. I don't. I like the human contact, and I think that from the online courses that we are providing, that my company provides, we are our online programs are the low cost entry level type of things, because we want people to get exposure to the methods that we are providing them with. And so funny that you said your 5-star something. I have the 5-star success blueprint.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And so in this 5-star success blueprint, the methodology we've developed is that we can tell businesses where they are in the journey and what it is that they need to be doing to get to that next level. Because a lot of times, and I see this with a lot of entrepreneurs, and again, this goes back to our topic of failure, is that they're stuck and they can't move through something. And so we help them with identifying what's even going on so that they can figure out what it is. Because if you ever ask an entrepreneur and you say, well, what do you need for your business? That what they say is, I need more clients. Well, yes, we all need more clients, but that's not a one sentence answer. If you need more clients, we have to go through this whole thing of like, how is the idea clear? Is your branding clear? Is your positioning clear? Do you know who you're selling to? Do they even want what you want to give them? Are they willing to spend money for it? Are you talking to the right person that has the money to give that money to you? What is the outcome that you're promising? And so we're going through this whole list of what is it, like 250 things that you need to know to find more clients. And a lot of times people just don't understand how complex these things are and what goes into it. So you have to try, again, back to failure, you have to try in this 5-star success blueprint, how we call it, where in there the holes are, and then be honest enough with yourself to say, I have not figured this out, and then call you to hire you, or call me to hire me, or, go somewhere where you really learn this particular one thing until you move on to the next, and you'll never be done, ever.
Look, I am now building a new business and I don't want any clients right now. I don't want any clients now, because this is what I learned from the startup world. There's the popular Y Combinator, you probably heard of them. And at the beginning, especially, you need to do the things which don't scare. And this tells everything. You need to do the things which don't scare. And until you reach that point, and after the chasm, that, okay, you can grow your business. You can automate things which you tested, that it works, it's okay. But till then, it's the learning phase. And in my case, for example, most of my clients, I had clients who've been working on their businesses for 10, 15, or even 20 years. And they were doing wrong way throughout that time. They didn't grow. They just can't get out,
Yeah, they just dilly-dally along, yeah.
And they were blaming everyone and everybody and everything, but themselves not. So,
well, that's a classic victim mentality, which I see,
yeah.
which I see probably as much as you do, as you see it, where, and that's really easy to do because it's really hard and it's very complicated and the system doesn't work, and so-and-so didn't do a good job, and so-and-so lied, and that was too expensive, and they didn't deliver. I mean, I can come up with probably more excuses than most people, because I've been doing this for quite some time. But at the end of the day, if you were the boss, it's on you.
Yeah,
it's on you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You hired that person, you paid that person, you made that decision. Nobody forced you to do that. And then I think what you also alluded to, Phil, was the idea that people are really attached to the work that they put in and forget to judge the result of that work on whether it's even worth it or important. I mean, you had mentioned that you had a business that you shut down. I had a couple businesses that I ran that ended up not working out for me, until the one business worked out for me, and then I made millions of dollars when I sold the company to Bill Gates. But up until then, things didn't work. There's a great quote which I heard from someone who is in relationships, and he said, Marianne Williamson said, all relationships fail until the one that doesn't. So I think we can also say this about businesses. All businesses fail until they don't.
Yeah, that's exactly. Beate, I think we discussed some really great, interesting topics, and I could continue with other topics as well with you, but I really hope that we will continue our interview sessions sometime in the future. Is there anything you would like to add for our today's meeting?
Well, I mean, I
Eventually
certainly,
share some more about you.
yeah.
Where can our audience reach you, for example, mostly?
Yes, yes. So what I really would recommend everyone to do, I have a free program that I put together. It's called Airtight Avatar. And so you find it at airtightavatar.com. It's a 45-minute training where I take you through how to do a proper customer profile and how to figure out who your ideal client is. So if you're an entrepreneur, I recommend this for everyone to do, just because it just gives you the thought process of what we just very briefly talked about. Who are you selling to? Do they have money? What are they thinking about? What they worried about, and what interests them? So you kind of get a little bit of a good starting point. You can also join our Facebook group on called Inevitable Recovery. So it's facebook.com groups Inevitable Recovery, where I do weekly inspirations on mindset and business tools and things like that. And sometimes when I have events, I'm announcing that. And that's really the best way to get a hold of me. We just started Clubhouse. So you find me on Clubhouse as Growth Architect, Instagram, Beate Chelette. So and reach out if you have a question. I mean, I'm a real person. Phil reached out and I responded to him. So if you want to get a hold of me, find me anywhere on social media and say hello.
Yeah. And don't forget, fail as often as possible, as quickly as possible, and learn from these failures, and always listen to those who went through these failures many times, and one day you will make it. That's my opinion.
That's my opinion too.
Thanks,
well, thank you, everyone.
And hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Phil. Great to have been on your show.
This episode was brought to you by Venture Mastery, one of the leading educational platforms for entrepreneurs aiming to grow and scale their businesses. Thanks for tuning in with me, your host, Phil Amory. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we'll get you updated with our upcoming courses, one-to-one interviews, and latest entrepreneurial success stories from around the world. I'd be honored to hear your thoughts and feedback, so please leave your comments and help us in producing even more engaging and valuable content for our next episodes. Thanks for joining us.